You didn't turn cold. You were conditioned to survive. This isn't about being broken. This is about adaptation. And what happens to the soul when the world teaches it that warmth is dangerous? They say you shut down, that you stop feeling, that you changed. But what if I told you that what you call coldness was actually intelligence? There's a village in northern Siberia called Oymyakon. It is known as the coldest inhabited place on Earth. And yet, life persists there, not because the people are immune to the cold, but because they adapted to survive it. Special routines, psychological shifts, even the way they breathe changes. You didn't wake up one day and choose to numb out. You slowly, quietly, subconsciously adapted to the emotional equivalent of minus 90 degrees. Have you ever wondered why a compliment makes you cringe? Or why intimacy triggers a quiet urge to disappear? Let me introduce you to a psychological concept that almost no one talks about: post-love conditioning. This is what happens when the very people who loved you also taught you that love equals control, or pain, or abandonment. In the 1950s, Harry Harlow conducted controversial experiments on baby monkeys. Given the choice between a wire mother with food and a soft cloth mother with no food, the monkeys clung to the soft one. They needed warmth, not just survival. But when warmth was paired with pain, the monkeys developed chaotic behaviors. They'd approach, then flinch, cling, then bite. They learned that love wasn't safe. Sound familiar? You didn't become cold. You became careful. In ancient Sparta, boys were taken from their homes at age 7, not because their parents didn't care, but because the system required them to suppress care. Vulnerability wasn't seen as weakness. It was treated as dangerous. This Spartan conditioning became genetic folklore. The body learned, softness kills. Even today, generational trauma encodes in DNA through a process called epigenetic tagging. A study from the University of Zurich found that children of Holocaust survivors carry stress markers in their genes that make them more prone to anxiety and emotional shutdown. You're not cold. You're carrying survival maps written by ancestors who didn't have time for softness. When you were a child, your nervous system learned a silent language. The sound of footsteps equals danger. A slammed door equals prepare for emotional exile. A raised voice equals freeze, mask, obey. That language didn't just vanish. Your vagus nerve, the highway between your brain and body, stored those codes. And even now, it still lights up not just when someone yells, but when someone loves you too closely. Why? Because to your nervous system, closeness means risk. Risk of betrayal, risk of being seen, and hurt. This is called neuroceptive defense bias, and it's rarely talked about outside trauma clinics. You're not pushing people away. Your nervous system is pushing threats away. It just doesn't know the difference yet. You might think, I chose to be like this. But tell me this, did you choose to flinch when someone raised their voice? Did you choose the tension that coils in your stomach when you get close to someone who might actually stay? What you call personality might actually be protection. Dr. Stephen Porges explains in his polyvagal theory that we don't just fight or flee. We fawn, we freeze, we fragment. So maybe you're not cold, maybe you're fragmented, maybe you're a masterpiece in protective pieces. There's a condition called learned irrelevance. It happens when you receive attention without meaning over and over, like a parent who talks but never listens, or a friend who comforts but never sees. Eventually, the brain stops responding to attention altogether, but the opposite is also true. With consistent, safe, meaningful connection, the brain can relearn relevance. You can defrost. The key isn't to feel more, it's to feel safe enough to feel. There's a remote tribe in Papua New Guinea that practices a ritual called sing-sing. It's not just a dance, it's a communal discharge of grief. Once a year, they cry in public, scream in color, shake in unison. They normalize the nervous system purge. What do we do in the West? We keep it together. Your survival strategy might be silence, but your healing strategy might be sound. Movement, mess. You weren't meant to heal alone. You weren't meant to regulate in private. You need co-regulation. It's not weakness, it's biology. There's a rare type of therapy called limbic revision. It doesn't use words, it uses presence. A regulated human sits with you until your nervous system begins to mirror theirs. Like emotional Wi-Fi, you don't rewire through logic, you rewire through experience. You don't need more advice, you need more safe people. You didn't turn cold. You wrapped your fire in ice to survive a storm that was never meant to last this long. And here's the secret. Your flame still burns. The fact that you're here watching this proves it. You want to melt, and you will. Not all at once, but breath by breath, by holding eye contact a little longer, by letting a compliment land, by staying 5 seconds longer in a hug. Healing isn't a switch, it's a temperature, and you're warming up. So next time you're tempted to say, I'm just not an emotional person, remember this. You are emotional. You are tender. You are alive. You were conditioned to survive, but you are meant to live. You're not broken. You're thawing, and that's the bravest thing you'll ever do.